Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Synaptic Investing. I hope you're having a fantastic week and are ready for another deep dive.
We've got a great one today.
Today, we're breaking down one of the most interesting, if maybe not the most glamorous, companies out there. Fastenal, ticker FAST. We're talking nuts, bolts, safety gloves, all the stuff that keeps our industrial world turning.
And that's the core puzzle, really. On the surface, it's a simple hardware distributor. But the real question for us as long-term investors is this. How did this company evolve into a fortress that the market values like a premium tech company? We're talking a PE of around 37, 38 times forward earnings.
That is a massive question. And before we get into the details, just a quick note for everyone watching.
For those who want to act on these investing ideas, having a professional-grade platform is key. We use Interactive Brokers, and we've partnered with them to get our viewers a stock bonus when they sign up.
So you get a bonus and support the channel at the same time. That link is in the description, right?
That's right. And of course, if you find value in this kind of in-depth discussion, the best way to let us know and to get the next one is to subscribe and like the video. It truly helps the channel. And if you have any questions regarding the company, please manifest yourself in the comments section.
Perfect. Now let's get into it. The big pivot. How did Fastenal become, well, what it is today?
Right. So for decades, their model was, you've probably seen them, little branches in strip malls, a classic retail franchise model for industrial supplies.
Sure, very traditional.
But that model, it started to mature, the growth slowed down, so they had to make this really radical shift.
Away from retail.
Completely. And that shift is what we call the on-site revolution. This is really the core of everything.
On-site. Okay, so what does that actually mean?
It means instead of waiting for a customer to come to them, Fastenal moves into the customer's factory.
Literally inside their building.
Literally. They set up a fully stocked mini branch right there on the production floor. A manufacturing plant, a distribution center, you name it. They have over 2,000 of these active right now.
That sounds convenient, for sure, but
yeah.
It also sounds incredibly expensive for Fastenal. Dedicating staff to just one client. How do the economics on that even work?
That's the beautiful part. It creates this amazing structural efficiency. The customer, the factory provides the physical space, the utilities, even the internet. So Fastenal's fixed costs are, well, they're subsidized by the client.
Oh, okay.
And it means their employee, a member of the blue team, is 100% utilized on that one big account. No more downtime, no more dealing with low-margin walk-in traffic. It's just pure efficiency.
And that proximity must change their whole inventory game. I saw they have something like, what, $1.6 billion in inventory?
Yep, and here's the kicker. Almost 60% of that isn't sitting in some giant warehouse. It's staged locally, or it's right there, inside those on-site locations for immediate access.
So you have the physical presence. How does the tech side fit in?
The tech is the glue that holds it all together. It's called Fastenal Managed Inventory, or FMI. We're talking about almost 134,000 devices out there in the field, turning the simple act of grabbing a part into a data event.
This is the famous industrial vending machines, right? The fast vend system. You swipe a badge to get your safety glasses.
That's the most visible part, yeah. But the tech goes deeper. Things like FAST-bin, which uses infrared and RFID sensors to literally weigh the bolts in a bin.
So it knows when you're running low automatically.
Exactly. The bin gets light, it automatically triggers a reorder. No human has to do a thing.
But the real genius here, from what I can see, isn't just the automation. It's the behavioral economics of it all.
You nailed it. This is the loyalty loop. Fastenal uses the data from FMI to help the customer buy less stuff.
Which sounds completely backward for a seller.
It does. But think about it. The system flags that one welder is using 10 pairs of gloves a day when the average is 2. The manager can see that, address it, and cut down on waste.
So Fastenal builds this incredible loyalty, not by being the cheapest, but by lowering the customer's total cost of ownership, their TCO.
Precisely. It shifts the conversation away from unit price entirely. You can see it in the numbers. Over 61% of their revenue now comes through this digital footprint, the FMI and e-commerce combined.
And once you've got their machines, their bins, their data integrated into your factory, you're not going anywhere. It's just too hard to rip out.
It's exponentially harder to dislodge them. And that right there is the beginning of their competitive moat.
Okay, so let's talk about that moat. The deep integration you mentioned. That sounds like a classic case of high switching costs.
It's the highest form of switching cost,
Yeah.
procedural switching cost. It goes way beyond just, liking your sales rep.
It's about risk, right? The operational risk of changing suppliers.
It is entirely about risk. Think about it. Fastenal often plugs their data directly into the customer's core ERP system. It's deep in their operational DNA.
So to switch, you're not just swapping out a vending machine.
No, you're ripping out hardware, you're retraining hundreds of employees, and worst of all, you're risking a stock out during the transition.
Which, in a lean manufacturing environment, is the ultimate sin. Shutting down a production line because you ran out of 2-cent bolt? It's unacceptable.
It is. It's like a razor and blade inversion. They practically give you the machine, the razor, to lock you into buying the supplies, the blades, forever.
And on top of that, there's this massive physical logistics moat. The 10,000 trucks. Why own the trucks? That's typically a terrible low-margin business.
Because of route density. They aren't delivering iPhones. They're delivering nuts, bolts, cleaning supplies, low-value density items.
So a third-party carrier like UPS couldn't do it profitably.
Not for the daily replenishment they offer.
Yeah.
As Fastenal adds more on-sites in one industrial park, the marginal cost for their own truck to make one more stop just plummets. It creates a physical network effect that's almost impossible for anyone else to replicate economically.
And that efficiency, that scale, it feeds into this idea of scale economy shared. It reminds me a bit of Costco.
It's a fantastic parallel. They use their huge buying power to get lower costs, but instead of keeping all the profit, they pass a chunk of it back to the customer through the service model.
So even if a competitor shows up with a slightly cheaper bolt,
It's irrational to switch. The total cost of ownership with Fastenal, when you factor in the reduced admin, the inventory management, the lack of stockouts, is just way lower. The competitor's cheap bolt is actually more expensive in the long run.
we also can't ignore the cultural side of this.
Yeah.
The blue team culture.
Yeah.
It's built on a decentralized model, right?
Yeah, that goes all the way back to the founder, Bob Kierlin. And it's a huge advantage. It gives local managers the autonomy to make decisions on the spot. Pricing, inventory, sourcing.
They can be heroes.
They can be heroes. If a production line is about to go down at 3 a.m. because they need some obscure part, the local Fastenal manager is empowered to solve that problem right then and there. That builds a kind of loyalty that no centralized command and control competitor can ever touch.
Okay, so a powerful business model. But that's nothing without good management. Let's talk about the stewardship under CEO Dan Florness.
He has a reputation for being incredibly candid and rational, very much in the Berkshire Hathaway School of Management.
I remember him describing the supply chain chaos in 2021 as crushingly bad. Yeah. You don't often hear that kind of blunt honesty from a CEO.
You don't. And that builds enormous credibility with investors. You know you're not getting spin. You know they see reality for what it is.
And how are the incentives aligned? Are they chasing growth at all costs?
Absolutely not. And this is critical. Their cash bonuses are tied directly to growth in pre-tax income, not revenue, pre-tax income.
So if you grow sales, but kill the margins to do it?
Your bonus is gone. It forces a culture of profitable growth. It's a really disciplined framework.
Let's see how the discipline shows up in the numbers. The one that always jumps out to me is their return on invested capital. It's consistently between 28 and 30%.
Which is just staggering. I mean, that tells you the moat is real. If you estimate their cost of capital is, say, around 9%, they're generating an economic profit spread of 20 points on every single dollar they reinvest in the business.
Only the absolute highest quality companies can sustain that.
For sure. And the profits are real, too. They're backed by cash. Their target is to have operating cash flow be over 100% of net income. Last quarter, it was over 115%.
Which brings us to their balance sheet. And this is really a weapon for them.
It is. They operate with essentially no net debt. Their net debt to EBITDA ratio is something like 0.17x. It's practically zero.
In a high interest rate world, why is that so important?
It allows them to play offense when everyone else is stuck on defense. Their leveraged competitors have to pull back. They can't afford to invest in new vending machines, new trucks, new hubs.
The Fastenal can.
Fastenal, with no debt burden, can just lean in and press their advantage. They invest right through the cycle, capturing market share while their rivals are just trying to survive. It's a huge competitive advantage.
Okay, we've painted a picture of an exceptional business. But that 37 times earnings multiple, that's a big number. The market is pricing in a lot of growth. Where's it going to come from?
The main runway is still on site. Management thinks the global potential is over 15,000 locations. They're only at about 2,000 today. So there's a huge, huge runway just to get into more large manufacturing plants.
And I imagine international is a piece of that, especially with all the talk of nearshoring.
Absolutely. Mexico in particular is a big focus as their big U.S. customers build new plants there. Fastenal can just follow them in and basically get guaranteed volume from day one.
And there's the operating leverage component, right?
Yeah.
As more sales go digital.
Exactly. If they can get that digital sales mix up towards, say, 66, 68%, then revenue can grow faster than headcount. That should allow operating margins to expand over time.
All right, let's put on the red team hat. Time for the pre-mortem. What kills this investment thesis? The first thing that comes to mind for me is just, it's still a cyclical business.
It is. And that's the biggest risk for a shareholder today. 75% of sales are tied to manufacturing. If we hit a deep industrial recession, that 37x multiple is going to get crushed.
The multiple could get cut in half, even if the business model is perfectly fine.
That's the risk. You're buying a premium stock that is tied to the economic cycle. A year of flat or down earnings could be very painful for the stock price.
What about margin pressure? As they sign these giant national accounts, the Fortune 500s, those customers have all the negotiating power. They're going to demand lower prices, right?
They do, and that's the constant tightrope they walk. Gross margins are structurally under pressure from that mix shift. The whole bet is that they can get more efficient on the SG&A line, their overhead costs faster than the gross margin declines. They have to constantly streamline to make it work.
And we have to talk about the elephant in the room for any distribution business, Amazon. Can't Amazon business just copy the vending machine idea and crush them?
You know, Amazon is incredible at what they do, which is the commoditized tail spend. If you need a box of pens or a standard brand of paper towels, Amazon wins.
But Fastenal has retreated from that fight.
They've retreated into the castle, they defend the complex production spend, the critical fasteners that need quality audits, the hazardous materials, the stuff that needs deep technical expertise. That's a world Amazon's logistics model really struggles with.
Okay, last devil's advocate point. The vending machines themselves. That technology is becoming commoditized, isn't it? Anyone can buy a smart vending machine now.
That's a great point, and it's true. The machine itself isn't the moat.
So it is.
The moat is the logistics network that makes it profitable to service that machine every single day. It's the route density of those 10,000 trucks and 3,600 locations. A competitor can buy the machine, but they can't match Fastenal's cost to restock it with a 5-cent bolt. The supply chain is the lock, the machine is just the keyhole.
So to sum it all up, it seems Fastenal made this incredible transition. They went from being a simple parts store to this critical embedded utility for manufacturers.
They used technology and physical density to create these just colossal switching costs. They turned nuts and bolts into a subscription service, basically.
So the final verdict.
For me, it lands in a tricky spot. This is a Tier 1 quality business, no question, but it's selling at what I'd call a Tier 4 valuation price.
You get the quality, but you're paying for it.
You're paying full price and then some. You get the compounding, you get the durability, but there's almost no margin of safety at these levels, especially for a cyclical company.
Which really brings us to the final lesson here. Why should you, our listener, care about a boring company that sells bolts?
Because it's the ultimate proof that there are no boring industries. There is only boring execution. Fastenal built a high-tech logistics fortress and disguised it as a hardware store.
That alignment with the customer's total cost, backed by just ferocious discipline, that's the real lesson.
It is. It shows you can find these incredible world-class compounders anywhere, even in the most mundane corners of the market, if you just know what to look for.
You don't have to innovate the product. You have to innovate the business model. A lesson worth digging into.